Yeah! Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game. Today we're on Two Ways, one of the maps that was re-added into the map pool. And we've got Tiberius Rancor playing 4th Mott Schutzen Division, what I consider to be an S-tier division. If you can check my tier list, you'll see it there, and I do go through why. And we've got Funny Transport Enjoy playing MBAD, which I put as lowest A tier, but having analysed it a bit more, I actually think it's probably more like a B tier div. So we'll cover the deck reviews, and then we'll go through the matchups, and then the deployments, and then the game, and as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so this is the deck review for Funny Transport Enjoyer playing MBAD, and yeah, we'll go through it tab by tab. So first tab, he's got 2 cards of Logi. Basically, on this division, you don't really need to repair tanks, and you don't spam arty. So 2 cards of supply you can get away with, really. Between the supply options, we've got this, which is 500 supply for 25 points. And then this, which is 300 supply for 20 points. So between these two, this one's obviously better. Then you've got the forward deployable supplies. So this is 300 supply for 25 points. And this is 750 supply for 35 points. So I think he's done the right thing by bringing these two. You can also bring the helicopter if you're playing like team games and stuff, because it'll get to the front line quicker, but in 1v1 you don't really need these. And then we've got forward deployed CV here in the form of the Führer Iltis. So last time we covered MBAD, spoke about how this is basically identical to this one, but this one has a better paint job. So yeah, obviously you got to go for the style points. And then we've got the Sultan at 3 per card. So yeah, there's no point bringing 2 forward deployed wheeled CVs, so you might as well get the one with the more availability. Switch it to the Inf tab. So we've got some Gurkha rifles here. They're at max vet. Yeah, I mean, it's an expensive squad, so it's neither here nor there, really. Are you going to be buying 12 of these? Maybe, maybe not. And so, yeah, they're at max vet there. And then we've got some Milan 1s in the Milan 1 transport. So this is interesting in that these guys are forward deployed. And so they're coming in this forward deployed transport, which it's quite expensive at 40 points, but it is forward deployed. And so you're getting a lot of Milans out at the start of the game if you need it. Then Milan 2s, so between this one and the British one, for 5 points, you get a free rank of veterancy, obviously paying for it. And the availability stays the same, and it's got forward deployment, so it's very worth it. In terms of the MG teams, whoa, you ever have that thing where you think you're going to sneeze, and then you don't sneeze? Well, that's nasty. Just edit that part out, I suppose. So for some reason, the MG3 is just better than the other 762 teams. So if you compare them, you'll see that the MG3, oh no, they fixed it. Okay. So that's a change from the patch. It used to be that the MG3 was just better, because it for some reason it had the Special Forces veterancy curve, but it looks like they fixed that. So now they're the same. So now you can bring whichever one you want, and obviously, you know, Belgians are cooler, I guess. Not really though. Sorry, Belgian bros. So let's bring in. Yeah, you just bring whichever one you want now that they're the same. It used to be that this one was just better for some reason, even though they cost the same. And between 762 and 12.7, 762 is just way better because it's half the price. You get more of them, and the DPS is only about a third less, because obviously the HE is half, but the accuracy is higher, and the aiming time is lower. And the reload time, well, the reload time's the same, but basically it's not half the DPS, and it is half the price, so you might as well get the MMG over the HMG. Then we've got these guys, so Paracommando RLs, I don't really like them very much. I think, I mean, obviously 18 pen on the AT isn't so bad, but if you want to do that, you've got regular paras with the lore 80. So I think rather than bring these guys are 10 points less, but you know, they've got a worse AT, but you don't really need that much good AT because you've got the paras, and you save 10 points, and you can bring it in this, and so then you get even more Milans, and this is also forward deployed, so you can get even more Milans out at the start. But, you know, if you're doing it with this, I mean, it just depends how many of these you want to be buying at the start. Probably not that many, whereas a line infantry squad, you can get a bunch of them out, and then you can get a bunch of these Milans at the start, so I prefer this one to this one. You also get more of them. And then there's the question of, should you upvet this, right? How many of these are you bringing? Because, yeah, you got enough lore 80s here, so I don't see the need for the Blinder side, really. And then you've got Paras, they've got a lore 80, 65 points for, you know, 8 or 5 men. That's a pretty big loss there, losing 3 guys. But they've got the lore 80, they've got 2 MGs, and they're definitely better than FS Jaeger, which have a better MG, have a better 80, but you get fewer of them, and they've only got 1 MG. So yeah, the 80 is better, but the MGs and the price and everything makes up the difference. And you've got Para Engineers, so 9 men with satchels for 55 points. It's a bit pricey, but they've got forward deployment, right? And the only other satchels here, well, so you've got the FS Pioneer, which costs the same, but you get 1 more man, but you lose a machine gun. And basically, these guys want to be running around, running up to people and shooting them. And 5.56 assault rifles and LSWs. They've got better motion accuracy than 7.62 battle rifles and MMGs, which can only fire when stationary, despite what the stat card may imply. Then, so yeah, between these two, I prefer the Power Engineers. And look at that mustache. Then you've got Marinas, so these guys are like probably the best anti-infantry squad in the game for the price. Like 45 points for 10 guys. They've got an Uzi, which, you know, is usually not going to be firing. But yeah, and the machine gun is like 2 rifles. So this is like 6 rifles. So they fight with the strength of 12 men for 45 points. It's not bad. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And they've got a Resolute, and they're only 45 points. The only issue is they don't have any AT, so they do get bullied by AT, so you've got to make sure you got some Paras with them. Some Gurkha Rifles, or even these guys. Then we got Gurkha Rifles Leader. So this is something I picked up on last time. I think last time we covered one of these games by Funny Transporting Troy. He was bringing these guys, who were like 100 points for forward deployment. But you don't need forward deployment because you've got forward deployment here. So it's better to just pay half the price. You lose 2 guys, but you still got smoke, and you got Resolute if you need it. And yeah, you save yourself some cash. Arty tab, so 105s are still kind of garbage. They haven't really fixed them at all. So basically the splash radius is way too low on these artillery pieces. And so the low caliber ones, they can land right next to you and just do nothing. But you don't have a choice because there's no 155 on this div. So you sort of have to bring this. And then between the mortars, this is the best one because it's got nice range. You only get 4 of them, but it's cluster. And if you've got corrected shot with a recon unit, it's like a sniper rifle. It's actually a lot of fun. And the smoke is unguided, so the smoke still blankets a nice big area. So it's really good. I like it. Well, it's not really good. It's okay. I like it. It's better than the other options. Tank tab. So you've got 48 fire support options here, which that's basically how you play this div. You do your forward deployed funny rush with your LSV Milans, which go at super speed, which we'll get to. And then you back it up with just spamming out 36 of these all over the place. Literally all over the place. I find them very funny. Basically, if your micro is really good, you can just annoy people for the whole game. There should always be one of these going around the sides trying to snipe people, because look, they're quite fast. For tracked vehicles, they're really quite quick. And so you can get them through the forests and stuff and mess people up. You should always be sniping their supply lines. With this division, you should always be in their backline, and that's just how it works. ATMP Milan, so this is forward deployed Milan 2. Then you've got the striker, which I don't like at all. I'd much rather pay 10 more points for the well, much rather pay 5 less points for more accuracy and better stealth, and better speed, or better road speed, I guess. But yeah, you lose HP and you lose the smoke. But honestly, the swing fire, I really don't like it personally. All it does is miss anyway. I think it's overpriced. And then Weasel Tow 2 in a helicopter, so this can be useful, I guess. We'll see. We'll see if it's useful to bring it in the helicopter. Yeah, it's not got smoke. It's only got 1 armor, but it's got Tow 2 on it. Sadly, it is really expensive for some reason. I guess because of the good stealth. But yeah, it is quite pricey for what it is. If you compare this to like a Jaguar 1 or something. Was a Jaguar 285 now? Can't remember. Recon tab, so this goes super duper quick, and because it says 100 down here, but because it's got special forces and it's max vet, with special forces, the higher veterancy they are, the faster they go. It goes really, really fast. It's basically the best forward deployment in the game, apart from Delta Force on 101st Airborne, because obviously that's got an infantry squad with it. Or maybe those stupid snipers on 9th US. So yeah, this is really good. And then we've got Pathfinders, which are a really good squad, so 9 men with 4 machine guns. Sadly, these are MMGs, so they have to be stood still to use them. But, you know, this is like 8 rifles, and 8 plus 5 is 13, quick maths. So they shoot with the strength of 13 men. They are very expensive, but they're special forces, right? Sadly, you lose 2 availability there. If they went 4-3, upvetting them would be a... You know, you just do it every time. But, yeah, it's best to leave it at 4, I think. Then we've got these guys, so they're 4 men with a Panzerfaust 3 for 50 points. I prefer, like, Paris Scouts, really, but do you need another line infantry squad? I mean, this is basically just more line infantry. They're not cheap, whereas this is more for, like, sneaking around, sniping people. So, I suppose they've got different roles to play. And then this Recon Helo for 35 for very good optics. I prefer the Scout Helm, although sadly it's only 4 HP. So it does die in 1 hit to manpads. It's got this AS-11 on it, which you just send one of these out at the start, and because it's got the Recon deployment, it gets there really fast. And then the enemy truck coming the other way has to take a risk. And usually they panic and unload. It's only got 40% accuracy, so it might just miss. It depends. Depends what you're doing. I mean, I suppose you've got this for forward deployed early game ATGM. But yeah, for 1 less availability, you get some guns. Obviously, you're paying more, so you get some missiles. AA tab, so this is Airborne Forward Deployed LML. And so this goes with your LSV Milan at the start. You get 8 of them, so yeah, at the start of the game you use a couple, and then throughout the game, when you're sending your stuff around the backlines, your scimitars, scimitar's probably the best to do it with, although the Weasel's cheaper and it's got better stealth, so, you know, whatever. But the autocannon on this is better. I've noticed this says it's got 3 pen now. Oh, I'm not sure if they've changed that. Was it 2 before? It was 2 a very long time ago. Anyway, you always send one of these with them, and then when they send a helicopter to deal with your infiltration unit, you shoot it down. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, this div. I like it a lot. And then you've got, yeah, Aviator Belgians with Minstrels. The Darkfire, which is sort of a semi-decent piece of AA. It's really not that incredible. It's mainly about the accuracy, but the range is kind of pants. And then the VADs, so this is your anti-infantry fire support. In this patch, the strength went down by 1, so it's 4 strength now. And that was the same on all towed AA. I think this is a little bit overpriced, really. It's a Gepard, right? But it's towed, and so you got to pay for the transport, so it's 80 points, which is the same as a Gepard. And you lose micro flexibility, you lose the smoke, you lose the armor. And I think it should be a bit less, really. Anyway, yeah, the VADs for just shooting people. Heli tab, so some Lynx Hell Arms here. Yeah, I mean, this is the one I bring as well. I'm pretty sure I bring 2 cards, because basically late game, you want to have helicopter ATGMs behind your defensive line at all times. And so he's only got 4 in the whole deck, whereas I would have 8 in this tab, so 2 Lynx Hell Arms. and then 3 more here, so that's 11, quick maths. Then for the air tab, we've got the F-16 AAA2. This thing's pretty good. And then, but it's, you know, only close range. And then the F4F, which is sort of the same, but a bit worse. But a bit cheaper. And it's got some too few missiles, and I think it turns a bit worse. Then the Buccaneer AT, so I like this because basically you just, I mean, the accuracy's terrible, but you shoot one at max range and then you immediately evac. Then 1 LGBT and 2 Buccaneer HEs. I think these are garbage. I don't like them at all. For 45 more points, which is quite a bit, you get this, which is you know, 10% more ECM. I think 220 points for 20% ECM plane is a bit high, really. Some people like this thing because of how cheap it is. And the seed's kind of garbage, but I tend to bring it anyway, just to soak for my LGBT, and I think I bring 2 LGBTs as well, so I'm not sure what you could get rid of to get more planes. Probably some ground-based ATGMs, although you sort of need those. So maybe you just sort of stuck with this. Yeah. Switching to his opponent's deployment, we got Tiberius Rancor playing 4th East German, which I think is an S-tier division. I think a lot of people sleep on it. The way he's built this is really weird, though. So, 3 availability on this. It's tracked, though. So for saving 25 points, you lose a lot of speed. And it's not got smoke. It's got guns and stuff, but you don't really want it shooting anybody. And then this is 2 availability, but it's faster, so this is like that one, I guess. Just depends what you're after. I prefer the availability, so I'd be bringing this one, because you get 3 of them. But yeah, this has a KPVT. It's amphibious. I suppose this is too. And it's slower. And it's got worse stealth. It's got 2 more HP, I guess. Then 2 cards of supply, so yeah, I mean, between these supply cards, yeah, it's just this one and this one are the best, because this is a healer, which you don't really want in 1v1, because the maps are too small to take advantage of it. But the weird part is, right, he's only got 2 cards of supply, and then we'll do a bit of skipping forwards here. He's bringing 2 MLRS with 2 cards of supply. So he's never going to be able to keep these shooting, so I think this is a big waste. Especially given the slot costs. And then these are your 152mm, which is basically an Acacia but towed, but slightly better for some reason. It's got slightly better HE, despite being the same caliber. Yeah, but you gotta micro these, which is kind of a pain. So I don't bring them because you gotta micro them, but whatever, he's better than me, so he can do that. But yeah, I don't agree with this at all. And then I'd be bringing some mortars for smoke, because how are you going to do your smoke mortaring? And there you go, I've saved you 2 AP. Inf tab, so this is another weird one. So he's brought FS Jaeger, which are a straight downgrade to FS Jaeger SMG. So the machine guns are like 2 rifles. It's slightly more, actually. It's more like 2.1. So the men on the left fight with the strength of 10 men. Whereas the men on the right fight with the strength of 9. So, you know, but you get a better RPG, I guess, which can be useful. But what I don't understand is why he's brought so many of them. So you really only want these out at the start, and then, you know, a couple of them at the start. And I prefer the SMG anyway. I think it's better, and so I'd be getting rid of these, which I'm going to do now, and then I'd be bringing the SMG. Then he's brought 3 cards of Motschützen BTR. So Motschützen SVD is a lot better than Motschützen BTR, because they've got the same number of men, right? The SVD has a worse rocket launcher, which, you know, it just generally doesn't matter too much. And they've got an SVD, and an SVD is like 2 machine guns. So the squad on the left, for 5 points more, fights with the strength of, you know, 4 machine guns is 8 rifles. So it fights with the strength of 13 men. Whereas the squad on the right fights with the strength of 10 men. So what's it going to be? Do you know what I mean? For 5 points, you get 3 more guys worth of combat power. You do lose 1 availability, but there's a reason there's only 1 card of this, and that's because it's so good. So we're getting rid of that. And then he also, like, he's not bringing... So Motschutsen regular. So this is basically the most cost-efficient vehicle in the game. For 30 points, you get Smoke, Resolute, 3 armor, the Grom, which is not as bad as people seem to think it is. You get a 2,625 meter range ATGM. It's only got 16 pen, but it doesn't matter because you hit them with one of these, they've got to leave anyway. And, you know, PKT, okay. And this comes at like 7 availability at 1 vet and 10 at no vet. So I don't understand why you want so many SPW 70s at all, really. I mean, you can build it how you want, right? But I'm just giving my take on it. So I'd be bringing 2 cards of this because it's OP. And, yeah, then Pioneers, Grenade Launchers, Unpronounceable ATGM can be useful, I guess. And then the better ATGM, which you can bring in the in the SPW if you really want it to, but it doesn't really matter too much. And then there you go, we've saved 5 AP. And if he's going to run out of infantry, which he isn't, you know, you could bring some Zickerung, 7 men, 40 points. Good optics when they're stood still. Really not a bad unit for 40 points at all. It's a very good unit for 40 points, actually. Or you know, some more of these Motshots and BTR, whatever. Or even something like this, just for sneaking around the backline and annoying people. Or we could just save 5 AP. So Arty tab we already covered. Tank tab, so this is the best. So basically this is the best one because it's got the Bastion ATGM. And you never want it to be engaged. You want as many of these as possible. So I prefer to have this at no vet so that you can get 6 of these Bastion ATGMs out because they're really good. Then this thing you can bring as well if you want. I mean, it can be useful. It's got the Bastion ATGM on it. Alternatively, you could bring the Conkers. We could use 3 of the 5 AP we've saved here. Bring the Conkers vehicle and then send that around the backline and annoy people. And then these tanks, because they've not got the ATGM, you actually want them to be in tank gun range shooting people. And so, yeah, I do bring these at 1 vet. And then, yeah, the tank CV. So he's got 7 CVs, which is good. 3 CV cards. Recon tab. So MI2 for looking at people. Then, so this is another reason why you don't need to fully fill this inf tab. Because, well, just keep in mind that these have 1 more availability at 1 vet than Motshots and BTR do anyway. And so, you know, you're paying 5 points for 1 guy, which can be useful, I guess, but I don't really think it matters too much. And then, yeah, so you've also got 8 more really, really good infantry. Special Forces infantry with satchels and smokes. And, you know, 2 machine guns. Really good squads, these. So do you really need these? And then the question is, would you want one of these in a helicopter? So you've got some helicopter deployable infantry, maybe this one, right? So there you go. Now you've got some helicopter deployable infantry, which might be useful. Maybe you don't want that. And then you get the BRM-1K, so you can actually put this next to your tanks, and your tanks can actually see something, right? Or you could get the SPW thingy, which does something similar and can annoy people throughout the game. Just sneak it around the side, shoot people, right? But yeah, I'd use 3 of our, or 2 of our AP here. AA tab, so the Shilka did have its range buffed against helicopters, so it is better now. So maybe it's worth bringing over the Strela. Because, yeah. But, you know, you're still going to struggle against Apaches. Obviously, our opponent here today doesn't have Apaches. But against an Apache, this is still going to get outranged. So, I don't know if this one's still better. But, you know, it's worth trying these. And then, like, are you buying 7 of them in a game? I find it hard to believe. What about 5? Then, you know, Cubs, obviously you need a card of Cubs. And this thing, so, forward deployed Strela. I honestly prefer the Igla. I don't think you need forward deployed AA on this div. I mean, I suppose for your opener it can be very useful, but it's got 40% accuracy and its range is trash anyway, so that they're really not that good. If you're going to do a forward deployed attack, what you do is you buy the AA helos, which he's not brought. um, so yeah, I mean, 12 of these. Do you need 12 of these? You could get 8 of these, and now it's got 45% accuracy. Or you can just bring these and get 6 of these at 55% accuracy with better range against helicopters and so on. And they're only 5 points more, and they're just much better. And then for your forward deployment, what you do is you bring the double AA helo, and that's your anti-helo, or you buy a plane at the start, which is very useful. So we've got Kokon here, and then Phalangers, and then this thing, which I think is terrible, but some people really seem to like it. So if you get it in range, it does damage, but this is 1,400 meters, which incidentally is the range of an IFV. An IFV's anti-helo is actually more than that. So if you look at where is it? Oh, it's on the other deck. It's like 1750 or something, or at least 15 something for IFVs against helicopters. So these just get shredded. So if they get into range, so I don't like them at all. And then you can bring the AA helos for your opener. How great is that? Then in the air tab, so we got the MiG thingy, then the AT one, which okay, and then another AT one, and then the cluster. So basically, this one-shots heavy tanks from the top, right? so you don't need 6 AT things, right? So you can get rid of some of them. This has more ECM, and this has rockets, so it's up to you whichever one you get rid of. But then you get this, so you can actually hurt infantry, maybe. And, you know, like how much AT do you need? I'd rather get the seed, personally, but you can do that. And then we've got 3 points spare because we saved 3 points by not bringing those MLRS that can't be supplied and getting rid of that final imp slot. So let's say you don't want the AA helo for some reason, whatever reason, then you can just get this, and this is your anti-helo, and you just chuck this into helicopters all game, and it'll kill him. It'll probably die for it, but you get 4 in a card, and Apaches come at 1 per card. So there you go, problem solved. Or, you know, let's say you don't want to do that. You could get the HE, and then you get 3 more HE bombers, and these aren't bad. They're really good, actually. Or you can get more regular fighters. This thing is good. It's pretty good. But yeah, this one can be very good, particularly for the opener, right? Because you can just buy 2 of these, and it doesn't cost you that much, or even just 1. So yeah, those are the deck reviews, and now we'll get on with the map, the matchup discussions, then the deployments, then the game, and as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the matchup. Fourth is much... Well, let's talk about the map first. The map is imbalanced, and the map is imbalanced because red can just get into golf at the start. They get here before blue does, depending on what blue brings, right? And there's no way blue can get into alpha at the start before red does. Also, red has a better time in middle because it gets more trees here. It gets these buildings, which are really useful, especially if you've got forward deployed conkers or something. It just looks them all the way down there, right? You can just see all his reinforcements coming in, always. They can't do the same to you. And yeah, you get more trees. So yeah, very, very imbalanced map, very red-favoured map. Talking about the matchup, fourth is ideally suited to counter MBAD. Fourth is really good in that it's got a very strong forward deployed component, and then there is the rest of the division where you just spam Mortschützen and good T-55s for the rest of the game, and T-55s got buffed this patch. The gun ones got a little bit cheaper, the ones without the bastions, and all of their rates of fire went up to 8, which is like, I don't really agree with that, to be honest. You know, because it's just making all the tanks the same. So yeah, fourth has been buffed, even though it was already S tier, so it's stronger now. And basically, yeah, you get a very strong forward deployment, and then you back it up with a bunch of 2,800 meter range ATGMs, air spam, helicopter spam, ground spam. As you'll know from the deck reviews, which you definitely didn't skip, Tiberius has built his deck in a really bad way. Yeah, I'm sorry to say it. I got a lot of respect for the guy. He plays a lot, right? He's better than me at the game, I think, overall. I think he plays more. and he tends to just play strong divs, right? So he's very his practice is targeted, whereas I just tend to play crap divs and then complain about it. So yeah. But yeah, the way he's built his deck is really quite awful. I'm really not impressed with it at all. And so we'll see how that goes for him with his 2 cards of supply and his 2 MLRS on his 2 cards of supply. So let's have a look at the deployment, shall we? So we got Tiberius going straight into golf because of course he is. He gets there before blue does. And this is where we were talking in the deck review about how Funny Transport Enjoyer should have got the one with the ATGM on it, because he would get here and he would be able to frustrate this deployment. Whereas otherwise he's going to get here and he's just going to see and he's not going to be able to do anything about it. So we've got 2 FS Jaeger, the bad one, should be bringing the SMG, and the Metis squad, and they're going to get here very, very fast. It is worth noting that the W50 is 90 kilometers an hour, whereas the Iltis is 100, as is the as are the oh, Rover isn't, okay. And the Unimog, that's 90 as well. Interesting, interesting. So we'll see what this lone MG3 team can do when he gets there first. But yeah, we're on this deployment at the moment. Einsatzgruppe in the Beute M35, and that's going to here, because you also get this forest. So you get the town, you get into the town, and you also get this forest. The way I think they should fix this map, if they don't want to actually make this town smaller or make this town bigger, you know, the minimum viable way to fix this map would just be to shrink this zone down so it ends here, where this road is. It just ends there. And then, you know, and then red doesn't get access to this, and they get in the town, but they don't just get the zone. So that's how I would fix it. It would still be stacked in red's favor, but it would be less stacked in red's favor, and it's a very, very fast change. They just have to change one zone. They don't have to change any terrain, right? But you know, we'll see what happens. So, Recon Helo here, and the Gov. So, we spoke about this in the deck review, how it dies to autocannons. But there's no autocannons coming the other way, so see how that goes. And then we've got 2 Pioneers, also going in the town. Going on different roads for some reason, I'm not sure why. I guess that's the auto-pathing. And then you see he's drawing back the SPW-70s. And T-55 Command, which is going to go hide here. Which makes it very, very difficult to shift, because you got to get in here, right, and you can't see it. Come around to here, it shoots you with its tank gun. So he knows what he's doing, abusing the map, but you can't blame him. I mean, you know, you're playing ranked, you want to win, right? You're on the good side, you might as well take advantage of it. Then a meta squad going to mid. I mean, I'm surprised he's gone for the meta squad rather than the forward deployed diverse individual ATGM, because the diverse individual ATGM would actually be able to shoot the guys coming down here, whereas the meta squad wouldn't be able to until they get to here, at which point they're already in the zone, and they can just unload. Another Recon Helo, checking it out. 1 FS Jaeger for Alpha, and CV for Alpha, CV for Delta Golf, and a CV for Bravo Charlie. And then the rest of the deployment is 1 Motschutz and BTR going here. A Shilka. Another CV. Right, so he's actually opened 4 CVs. And this CV is going to try and send all the way to Foxtrot. I don't think that's a good idea. It's just sort of a waste of 100 points. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll work. And then a tank CV, which is just going to sit in Charlie. So yeah, I mean, a lot of CVs makes his deployment a lot weaker than it has to be, really. Switching to his opponent's deployment, we got MBAD, and so Funny Transport Enjoyer here, trying to actually go for Alpha. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, so he's not brought 100 kilometers an hour vehicle. So the point of MBAD, right, is that you get the best forward deployment in the game, second best. Well, okay, it's subjective. The LSV Milan goes faster than any other forward deployment because it's max vet special forces and it's got 100 kilometers an hour base speed anyway, so it's super duper fast. So if you want to get somewhere first, that's what you should be bringing. And so he should have brought one here. He should have brought one here, right, to secure this. And you just because if there's somebody coming the other way, right, you just park it there. and then you shoot them as they come down this road, because you'll get there first, or at least force them to unload, at least see them. Alternatively, you zoom it down this road, you put it here, and then you're covering all that, and if there's nobody there, then you jump up to here, and you cover all that, and you put an ATMP Milan with it, sorry, an ATMP Javelin LML with it. On this side, yeah, and he could have put one here for the same reason, although I would use this road, and you get all the way down here, you get there first, you get there before this, because even though it's forward deployed, it's 90 kilometers now instead of 100, right? And then you just shoot them as they come down this road. And they have to unload at the very least, right? You probably won't kill him against a good player, he'll probably unload, but at least you frustrate his deployment, you get that transport kill. You've got recon there for the rest, you know, until it dies. And then on this side, because the enemy obviously gets here first, you get the LSV Milan down here, and you park it like here, and then you shoot him here. Or, literally, you just barrel it this way, it comes down here, and then it can hide in these trees, or these trees, and it actually shoots them as they come in, because it's super fast. So I really feel like he's not playing to his divisional strength here. But he is Russian Alpha, with 2 para engineers, 2 paras, and 2 VADs. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, obviously the FS Jaeger is going to get there first, but the Gazelle is going to scout that. Then we've got a CV, which is going Echo Alpha. Also, yeah, that's another reason Blue's thing is worse. So just because of the way these zones are constructed, this can just go straight through here into there, or straight through here into Charlie, right? It just passes through and caps it while it's moving. Whereas on the other side, to cap Echo, because it's smaller, you actually have to come in here, and it wastes you valuable time. So that's another way Blue has it harder. And then he's got... See, you see how these are 100? So you'd want that going... You'd want one of these on this, because it will get there faster. He's not done that. All the LSV Milan's obviously better, right? So this is 70 points, or he could get an LSV Milan, which would get there faster, and it's mobile, and it's got a Milan 2 on it, and it could shoot down there. But he's going for that, and he'll be looking here, I guess. Sure. And the other one's coming down here and going for this building, which is a nice building. And then he's got an ATMP Milan, which is not as good as the LSV Milan, and that's coming down here. And presumably he'll move it up to here. It is cheaper, though. On the middle, he's got 2 MG3s, one for the right forest and one for the center forest. Paracommando's recoilless rifle guys come in here. 2 more ATMP Milans. One's actually going on the Golf, which is kind of weird that he's putting it all the way back here. Like, doesn't he want to come up here and try and shoot the guys as they come in? And one's going to Charlie. It's just going to sit there. And then a CV for Foxtrot Golf. And then on the right, he knows he's not getting there first, I guess. So he's putting an MG3 here, which is probably going to die. And then the engineers are unloading, like, all the way back here, which is really interesting. And the recoilless rifle here. So he's... I don't agree with anything that's going on here. So they're not bad players. Like, this is an extremely high-level game. It's just not the way I do it, basically. And obviously I'm right. So let's cast the game. Right, so they're up, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get the names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members-exclusive videos. One join at the lowest level is worth 2,000 views. It's the best way to support the channel. I'm currently unemployed and still trying to do a full-time PhD, but they stopped paying me because I took too long, because I was making too many Warno videos, I guess. So you should feel bad, basically, but no, it's entirely my fault. Yeah, burning through my savings right now. My idea is that if I can grow the channel enough, and everybody gives like a very small amount, and there's enough of them, then, you know, I could basically just do this full time. But it does rely upon me aggressively shilling constantly, so there's going to be more of that. So between these two, this one's cheaper, just for basically for no reason. It's very slightly slower, but yeah, this one is it's really not worth it. Anyway. Okay, so he scouted this whole deployment, and you see how he does get here first, because so that's something we learned, because this is 100 and this is 90. If they were both 100, this would be here first, but because it's not. Anyway, so he gets the Gov, he loses the MG3, and for some reason he unloaded all these guys back here, so they're going to get in anyway. So, Over on this side, the FS Jaeger did get here first, as we spoke about, because he didn't have any 100 km/h ones. Loses a guy there, just basically for no reason. And the F-16A scares off the AT plane. I guess he bought this for the rockets. And he's got no CV in mid. So, Funny Transport Enjoyer, FTE, spots this CV coming in. He sees all this. He knows what's there. And he has managed to get in here. So he will be on a +2 until this comes in. He's had all his stuff scouted. And yeah, it's just a really weird deployment. Like, so he had the FS MG3, right? He could have put the LSV Milan here or something. And he could have just stopped all this. Or at least slowed it down enough to get more stuff in. The F-16A purchase was intelligent. He's got a lot out of it, and he's going to get this as well. He's got loads of kills there, and he's managed to take this zone. And he's moved up the Milan thing, as we spoke about. Tiberius trying to flood this zone now. Oh, it ran out of everything. Okay. So that's pretty lucky there that this survived that. And yeah, there's no CV in here. Tiberius still trying to do this thing with Foxtrot. No CV purchased for Charlie. And he can't move this one out, right? So he's moving up here. The only problem he's got is that the VADs don't move up as fast as the infantry, but he really should be aggressively getting into the church so he can see further than atheists, because this is how far an atheist can see, this is how far a religious person can see. Rocket planes back out because it evac'd without taking any damage, so it got out quite quickly. And the MG3's here. Blimey, this map's dark, isn't it? Just like my personality when I see people deploying incorrectly. And then complaining about their division in the Discord. So, got a fighter out here, right, just to scout, and FS Metis at no cohesion's going to do some missing there. So the Shilka could be brought up to do some damage, I guess, but I guess he's scared of the ATMP Milan. And Tiberius, you know, if he used this tank, he could be winning this, but... And he's got a backup CV for if the tank dies, and he's got air support, so he knows this isn't going to die to something random, but he's playing it safe, and he's going to lose that FS Metis there. So, rocket planes out. F4F against MiG-29. The MiG-29's the most cost-efficient fighter in the game. It's got longer range missiles than anything on NATO, because this game prides itself on its realism. So the Warsaw Pact has better equipment than NATO in every way. And if you don't agree with that, you're just a bigot. Goes in on the low paras there and takes them out. Gurkha rifles coming in here. And because of how fast this will sell, that is actually a cost-efficient way of doing things. And over here, I mean, he basically just ceded this half the town. And Tiberius on a +3 now because he's got mid, and there's nothing else in mid. AA purchased. I suppose you could, like, this is more mobile, which is nice. Or you could put, like, a Darkfire here and try and cover both sides, but they don't really have the range for it. Gazelle was low altituded there, so not landed, but it did manage to survive. And these paras are just getting chewed up by SPW spam. So they go down. And the Gurkha rifles haven't really been pathed in. They've just sort of sat there. The VADs, I'm not sure where they're going, really. So yeah, these guys need to wake up a bit. Over here, Para Engineers losing to Pioneers because Pioneers are just ridiculously cost-efficient. They get Resolute and 8 men for 40 points. Basically the best satchels in the game in terms of cost efficiency. This is 15 more points for one more guy. And no Resolute. so there you go. Obviously they're also outnumbered, and so yeah, FTE losing this position and losing this position, so it's looking pretty Jova. This guy's still going. In mid, FTE is winning mainly because Tiberius just isn't using his assets. He's just sending things in one at a time and losing them. But he's moving up the tank now. Although he's just evac'd the plane, so now that he's not got air cover for his tank, he's bringing it. He's sending it forwards. ATMP Milan here is going to start shooting the SPWs. There are a lot of them. Gurkha rifles against Pioneers. I'm not sure. I think the Pioneers might actually win, or it'll be close. And yeah, they're not in a building. They're not in a building, so they're just taking additional damage there. He's trying to move the VADs up, and the SPWs are just getting smacked around here. And yeah, so another Gov purchased. No scimitars or anything out from FTE. He's just... Oh, here we go. Got a couple out now. And yeah, the VADs go laying into the Gov there. And you see they're pretty decent, right? Like, they are very good. And so he's trying to save his VADs here, but he's eating Pioneer rounds. He is 3 vet, right? But by saving the VADs, okay, it managed to get a burst off there, and it did quite a bit of damage. Now he's bringing in the scimitars, and there's no AT here. Yeah, Tiberius still on that +3. Looks like it's going to be quite a short game. He's managed to push up to here, although he's not brought a supply, and you know, he hasn't got fire control on this. Like, he just needs to move one of these to here so he sees the reinforcements coming in. He's not doing that. So RM70 purchased with those cheeky 2 cards of supply he's got. So he's not going to get much value out of that, basically. F-16's up, and you see the Gurkha rifles. They did kill one Pioneer squad, but they're going to lose the second one because this is a ridiculously cost-efficient unit. Packed stuff in general is just kind of better across the board, really, with very few exceptions. So Gurkha rifles go down there. To be honest, he could have got it back, and now he's going to give him a supply as well to heal him up. He's to apologise for hurting him, for daring to play a non-meta div. So F-16 gets immediately hit by the max range missiles on the MiG-29, right? More range than anything NATO brings. And these are also better than any NATO secondary missile. And it's 220 points. That's another reason why 4th is S tier. Gurkha rifles here against Pioneers. I mean, he's not... he's just sort of... Yeah, okay, alright, he's woken up now. And the Marinas are coming in now, so the Marinas are really good against infantry for the price. Yeah, they're not so great against vehicles. Here we go, so scimitars around the back. This is what it's all about with MBAD. That's what you should be doing. There should be one coming this way. There should have been one going this way. There should be one coming up here. It's only 35 points, right? And you can send the weasels if you want, but I prefer the scimitars because the gun's better. So... VAD's going in on the FS Jaeger, and the Marinas are firing now as well. And like I said, these are the wrong FS Jaeger. He brought the bad ones, which have less anti-infantry but better anti-vehicle. And there you go, so that's an RM70 volley on where he thinks there's a guy, but there's not. And he can't send a recon helo to check, because I think he fed 2 of them at the start, and he knows that there's a VAD here, because he keeps shooting him. So, bit of a wasted volley there. And the minstrels are getting shot. They'll die pretty quickly, actually, against FS Jaeger. So he's got to watch out. Look, he's already lost a HP. The Scimitar's shooting the Pioneers, but crucially, he's revealed himself now. So the CV is running away very slowly. Okay. So power engineers brought in here. And those FS Jaeger will go down soon. The Marinas, you can resupply them up really quickly. So he needs to move up here as well, and he needs some supply for these guys, and he needs to move the Marinas up, because he's basically just letting his opponent just heal up all his units. These 4 were all engaged, and they're all being healed up. He's not actually lost anything. So that went about as well as you might expect. And he got the CV here as well. I don't watch these beforehand. It's just, you know... Obviously, is that really going to work? It's only going to buy you like a minute or so. What it does do is force FT to buy a CV to unneutralize the zone. Gurkha Rifles survives that. And then this could be brought in to finish him off, but he's not doing it. Or this could be brought in to finish him off. Now he's just going to let him land. Okay. Honor rules, I guess. And yeah, the Motschützen, very, very cost-efficient infantry. This is getting way too close for comfort. A grenade launcher there. Very powerful as well. Okay. And so the scimitars, they get the supply. The Pioneers can actually throw satchels at these. They don't do a whole lot. And looks like FT's basically managed to secure this. He does need to sweep it, right? He needs to sweep it because there's guys hiding and stuff. And he needs to move up this Milan too to here to get these people as they come in. But yeah, this RM70 purchase, just putting it in the deck in general, I mean, what is this? It's a bit nonsensical, really. He's only got 2 cards of supply, and he's got 2 RM70s in his deck. Doesn't really make much sense. Sultan purchase for Foxtrot. And then these scimitars graciously moving into AT range after this thing blows up. So they could go back now, they could smoke now, or they could die now. They choose option 3. Striker on there. Gurkha Rifles coming in here. The scimitars here died, and now these tanks are back in. And this is presumably why he got those RM70s. I assume this was a ranked match. So he got these so he could shoot this forest. But basically, he's just going to run out of supply really, really, really quickly, because he's only got 2 cards of supply, and he's trying to keep these going. And, you know, I guess he really wants a short game, but looks like he's... I don't know, he's up on points, and he can just send a CV in here now. But yeah, funny, Transport Enjoy just not capitalizing on his advantages at all. Like, he was winning these fights, and then he just let him resupply. And he was winning these fights, and now he's just letting him resupply. He needs to get in there. And he's got these helicopters, he can send them in just to scout, see where everybody is. So he's sort of moving up a bit now, very slowly. But he needs to get all the way to here, really. And he needs to be sending stuff around the sides at all times. This is basically the best map in the game for MBAD. And the 4th player could be doing the same thing as well with like SPW-70s and stuff. Just snipe the transport roads, you know? Although we know he's got no BRDM-2s and no SPW Conkers in his deck. He's just got the SPW-70 spam and obviously the helicopters. So Minstrel here, it doesn't quite see. And the Gurkha rifles never got healed up. And then this is back in here now, which will stop the FTE tick. Although the ATMP Milan sees it, takes it out. Marinas don't have AT, which is why you got to keep these Gurkha rifles with them. So this is probably going to die now, depending on the micro there. MiG-29 gets a helo and gets tagged, but survives. And yeah, this Minstrel's being moved up now. Just needs to get out of there, really. Maybe by a plane of his own, although I think they might all be dead. Weasel Toe 2 being used to heli drop here. Gurkha rifles finally see the SPW-70, but he's got it on a move order, not an attack move order. So it's going to survive and just drive away. And then shoot some Pyro Engineers. It's worth noting that if you get the Tier 4 channel membership... Oh, here we go. Buccaneer AT purchased. So that got something there. And then he evac'd it. I think... Didn't it have Ligmas on it? Couldn't he have used those on this? I'm not sure what's going on here. He's trying to get in range of it. Yeah, it's smart using the planes here, because obviously there's no cubs or anything. Like, Tiberius hasn't bought a single cub. He's relying on his OP fighters instead. But yeah, if you get the Tier 4 channel membership, you get your games cast at a rate of 1 per calendar month. It is a bit pricey. I had to raise the price because too many people were going for it. And you know, it spots the channel, and then I can laugh at you when you just walk past an SPW-70 and it just kills everybody, and then you just give your enemy supply, and you just keep walking into it, and then the only guy who can kill it just walks past it, and you just lose everybody to one 30-point unit. You know, don't you want to pay for the privilege of being laughed at? So anyway, you know, these marinas are really good because you know, obviously your micro's got to be on point. And then there you go. So give some free heals to these FS Jaeger. He's really made a pig's ear of this. And this as well, to tell you the truth. Obviously, we've got perfect information, but this is like, I mean, Blue here could have had this zone, and he could have had this zone, but he's really making a pig's ear of this. Red's made his own mistakes, but mainly in the deck build, like, and then like buying these 2 cards of supply, you buying these, like, he lost so much momentum here because that's 2 minutes income on these, and then he's bought a CV for them, and obviously he's buying supply for them, which you refund, but call it 3 minutes income effective, right? Because you're selling these, but the cost, you got this opportunity cost thing. Takes out his own supply there, doesn't really have a choice. And yeah, like this should be coming up to here, you know, there should be recon here. He should be using this road as well, you get up there. MiG-29's back for more. Gurkha Rifles does manage to land in time, but the Einsatzgruppe got the CVE there. He's bringing in some VADs. Could really use a Darkfire back here. I mean, the plane bully is pretty real. And the Airborne Div has worse planes than the 4th Mott, because 4th Mott's an S-tier division. So here we go, Tiberius sneaking around the side here, which is, it's very sensible. And he'll probably get this CV as well. So real turnaround here. Weasel Mark 20 blob without recon. But I suppose there's enough of them. Gets shot in the back a bit there. He really needs to set up his AA now. He's just getting bullied by the fact that 4th Mott a mechanized division, or motorized division, I suppose, has better planes than MBAD and Airborne Division, thus making 4th Mot ested, even though some people might disagree. They're just wrong on the internet. So, feed in some VADs here, because he can. And there you go, this fired all 4 of its missiles, and that guy made it out. Although if he hadn't evac'd, he could have shot it with the guns and probably killed it there, so... Loses the CV here as well to the SPW-70s. This is why you need to get up to here, because if you're here, then you can see here, and you can see, you know, you can basically, they can't get past you. And yeah, like this should just, if this got all the way up to here, this would all be dead, because they've got lore 80s, but he doesn't do it, he just sits here. It's very depressing. Like, the minstrels should have been round to here. He never used this road, and now it's defended. Although the Weasel Mark 20 blob's working, I guess. It's just, basically with MBAD, you've got to have a really good micro. Like, don't get me wrong, if somebody spectated one of my games, I'd probably be making loads of mistakes as well. It's just that this is a very, very high-level division in that you get loads of cheap things, which are very weak, and you've got to just constantly sneak them around everywhere. So... and like, you know, no smoke abuse, right? You got to abuse the smoke as well. You got to be constantly sending stuff around the side. Like, there should have been somebody coming up here and just sitting here and just shooting these guys as they're coming down here. Same with this. Like, he never had anybody here. And so that's how Red got in the first place. So, yeah, Tiberius back on the +2. Mainly because there's no CV here. And there you go, that Blinder side coming in clutch there. And yeah, he's just moving up so slowly, and the fact that he takes so long just gives his enemy time to put more people here. And then there's people there, and then that makes him move up even slower. So FS Jaeger coming in here, Gurkha rifles. I don't know if they'd be able to stop him actually. Okay, so he smokes that and then reverses into the RM70 volley. I guess he doesn't really have a choice. I suppose he could just stay there in the smoke. And rather than just, actually, he could have not reversed into the RM70 volley. He could have just stayed here in the smoke, because he knows where this is. As it stands, just manages to get out, which is quite lucky, actually. And, yeah, still no dark fires here, so he just keeps getting bullied by planes. Here we go, dark fire purchased. And he should have one here as well, and he should have one here as well, and then there you go, no more plane bully, or at least reduced plane bully. He's got a Gurkha Rifles leader coming in here now, which will stop this tick, although then he'll be on a +2 if he can get back in here, but I don't know, it's really strange. So he's got this up to here, and there should be an LML with it as well, because obviously the helicopters are going to come for you, maybe even 2 LMLs. You just got to use the map to your advantage. If this was here, it could shoot that. Although then the helicopter would probably kill it. So, and yeah, this is out of rounds. So you need some supply really. And needs more AA here, like a minstrel or something. Because yeah, fourth, one of the many reasons 4th is OP is that okay. Yeah, he gets it. I mean, he's 3 vet, and it's a lore 80. So that was good. Now he needs to basically you turn off cover and you just hide behind this. Or just like turn off cover and just stop there, because obviously this is going to see you as soon as you get out from behind those buildings. So that was a bit hasty, and hasty makes wasty. Gurkha Rifles doing business there, but there's only 2 of them left. And yeah, so this has 2 Ligmas. So if he'd kept it in before, he might have been able to do something. Anyway, that's going to miss. And then the MiG-29 with its better range missiles than anything NATO gets is actually going to miss. It's quite surprising. Because this only has 20% ECM, so that missing twice is interesting, actually. So, Gurkha Rifles, they just don't have the HP, and it's like, I don't understand it at all. There you go, Darkfire, problem solved. Sultan's gonna go down here, needs to buy another CV. Yeah, just, I don't know, this could have been stopped here, really. And like, these scimitars, there should be one coming down here. It should be coming down here, it should be going up here. I'm just molding, bro. Anyway, he's finally moved forwards here. And he's realised, oh yeah, I can just walk in. And like, this TOW 2 is useless there. What you do is you get it down here, and you use that good stealth, right? And then you get it to here, and it'll shoot guys here. Because it's obviously not doing much there. And he's realised, oh yeah, I can just take this zone. This has been forgotten about. Still got these RM70s back here. And now +5 for blue. Oh, +3 for blue. Uh, like, yeah. So, okay, so Totu moved up there, although I'm not sure what he did there. He must have lost vision or something. Weird. Anyway, this has 18 AP. Basically, you just got to use the forests, man. This is like the best map for airborne divs. But it wasn't in ranked for ages, and I don't know if Skull used to play back when it was, and, you know, it is what it is. Sorry, funny transport enjoyer. I don't know what moniker he prefers to go by. Skull's easier to say, to tell you the truth. But, you know, some people like the anonymity. I don't know if he's one of them. Obviously, it's a bit late for that now. I've been trying. So here we go. So Scimitar's coming down here, but like he's just not using the flanks at all. He's not using the advantages of his division, and so he's going to lose all these to Motschutsen if he's not careful. Okay. And Vads plus Darkfire. Like, this has really good accuracy. So double cluster there, and Tiberius basically is just trying to snipe CVs. And he misses. Oh, boy, okay, it was a partial hit. Like, see, it missed, but it still dealt loads of damage. Anyway, the Buccaneer's going to go down. There's still no Darkfire here, and the beatings will continue until Darkfires are purchased, basically. Right, now you got to move this, because he'll know from where the circle came out, where it is. And, you know, he could sweep this. He could really try, but I don't know. So these are just transports. Striker moving to try and get the SPWs there. This is out of rounds, but it's on the front line, so it's going to get shot. Milan 1, though, it's in a good spot. It does miss, though. And yeah, the Rover could have stopped here and still supplied that, I guess. And there you go. So they got the CV, and Tiberius is back on a +3 with 16 minutes left. And yeah, there's still nobody here. And Mega AA Blob here gets that. Kind of weird. I don't know why that's like that, really. So he's sending in the Hell Arms now, and yeah, he needs some supply desperately on the left. This is making me really want to play Warno. Good games always do. Like, if you see me being salty, it's usually because the game is extremely engaging. So that's that, really. So still +1 for Tiberius, and here we go. So FTE now, he's just scanning. He's trying to sort this out. He must have run out of recon healers or something. But yeah, you could even use a Hellarm or just one of those Chinooks or something. You might run out of those too. Just to scout it. Obviously the shield would kill you, but you'd at least see it. And these paperweights now just doing absolutely nothing, as we spoke about, because he only has 2 cards of supply. He's ran out of supply, I think, because otherwise there'd be supply here. Not been spending his points for a while, and here comes 20 more Motschutsen. So if only FTE had been a little bit faster, there wouldn't be 20 more Motschutsen here. And, you know, you get somebody around to here, you get somebody around to here, you get somebody around to here, you get AA in there as well, and you know, it is what it is. Hellam does survive there, and then the Mega AA Blob, I don't understand why there's 4 guys stood on top of each other here, but it seems to be working. Anyway, Tiberius gets back in here. He is on the good side, as we spoke about. And, okay, so Buccaneer's going to try and get that Shilka. It does have 6 513 kilo bombs, so it gets the Shilka, and the tank is routed, but not killed. And, yeah, he needs a CV over here. Sultan coming in. Not sure if he's starting to run out. I think he's got... No, because he's used both his Gurkha rifles. He's used both his ultis. I think this is his last CV. I think he's only got the CVs left on the board, basically. And, yeah, just loads of people just sat around here not really doing anything. Like, this could be moved up to like, here, you know, and get some vision. Or you just use the MG3 as a blocking unit and then send everybody else forwards. But, yeah, he's playing it very, very cautiously, and it's costing him the game. Tiberius has realised he has an infantry tab and is now buying out all the recon and stuff and just flooding this full of guys. This is a sort of, you know, this is where you buy a mortar, right? But like scimitars here, this scorpion here would be great. Get these healed up, sell that. These weasels, great, yeah, get them here. Send a guy up here. Obviously, like you should be able to see this actually because the FS Jaeger can see, yeah, because look, this is now shooting. Move these up, you know. This div, you just gotta have good micro. But yeah, I don't know. I'm getting really into this, so that's why I care so much. So if I ever flame you, I'm flaming you out of love, like love for the fact that you've put a 4-stack of infantry together without AT, and now you're running them into a guy that you can't kill, and he's just going to kill you all. But he's trying to make up for this, but I mean, why is he running into it? And he's just losing guys. So yeah, SPW spam does work if your enemy just walks into them and dies, which we've been seeing a lot this game, and here you go, so now the counter flood is here, just mainly due to just lack of initiative from blue here. Like they should all be moving up really fast. I'm surprised he's still got some of these. But yeah, it's difficult to micro everything, so what you see instead is things like this, where they just buy 20 of a single unit without AA. Like, put a Javelin ATMP, Javelin LML in there, something like that. Yeah, it's very difficult to micro this div. Have I said that already? I might have mentioned that 1 or 2 times. So, looks like FD is going to get pushed out here because, I don't know, he's just not got the initiative. Still not bought a Darkfire for mid. This still doesn't have any ammo, even though the supply's right here. Looks like he only lost 1 Marina there. Because he had 4, and now there's, 3 over there. And, yeah, so this Darkfire, could use some supply. Cluster's coming in. Seems to know exactly where it is. Not sure how. Although it should survive, because it's on its cluster. And this is moving, so it's not shooting. Not sure why it's moving. Could have killed that. There we go. But yeah, could have got 2 shots off there, easily. This guy's got 1 HP, so you don't want him at the front. And another CV coming in here for blue, to for red to even the odds there. And blue loses his handle on this zone. LGBT purchased. Because yeah, you got to be careful buying this thing when you're against overpowered MiG-29s. Of course, Pact, known, I don't know if I mentioned this, but in real life, this game prides itself on its realism, so naturally all the Pact equipment's better than all the NATO equipment, because that's what happened in real life. The Pact equipment was so good that they just surrendered, and they've, without firing a single shot, the whole army collapsed, because it was really cost efficient. Basically, the Pact equipment was designed to be really cost efficient, but also better in every way. It was just good at everything. They had the best everything. Best long-range AA, best short-range AA, best tanks, best ATGMs, best fighters, more fighters, more fighters per card, best artillery, best infantry, the logistics, I guess, is comparable. Best helicopters, right, KA-50, they had that in 1989, of course. And so all the Pact stuff was just so overpowered that they just decided to just give up. Because, they prided themselves on their cost efficiency, right? That's the whole thing with the Soviet doctrine. It's got to be so... It was so cost efficient, in fact, that their nation collapsed under the economic strain of producing all this cost efficient equipment. It's just so cost efficient. So, Scorpions taking out the T-55s there. But, this game, it prides itself on its realism. So you're not allowed to complain about any of these things. LSV Milan purchased... So this is obviously really strong at the start of the game, but we're seeing it now at 30 minutes. And yeah, like I said, the T-55's got buffed. And yeah, so Gurkha rifles coming back in here. They got to be a bit careful, though this doesn't have AT. And yeah, so we got some blobs here, but they're not really doing anything. Like, they need to move up past here, really. There's still some supply left, apparently. Being used for the front line. And here we go. So ATGMs going in on these. Fourth obviously has the better ATGMs, but he doesn't have any here. They have 2,800 meters range. Here's one. But he's just kind of sat here eating striker rounds. Wow, it actually hit something. I suppose the main advantage of this is that it has lots of rounds. Here we go. So 2,800 meters on this, although... And these can't really help. So the Scorpions have to try and do it. But he's like fast moving it, which means it only has 15% accuracy, and then it just dies there to this, which has been buffed. It got cheaper, and its rate of fire went up, because 4th is such a weak division. And, we're just a little ray of sunshine here today. So, more fighting going on here. Yeah. So 8 minutes left. Tiberius still in the lead. RT purchased. 105s being purchased here. I'm surprised that we just never saw the cluster mortar. Or, you know, recon for the cluster mortar. Like, we haven't really seen any, what are they called? Pathfinders. They're really good. Here we go. So that's what the supply was going for. These are getting healed up. He's left the fuel one on. So some of that went on fuel there, which is a big waste when you've only got 2 cards of supply. This guy fell back here, so these are all going to die now. They've not got smoke. And yeah, they're only 20 mil. So yeah, ooh, you see how it doesn't go for the routed one? So that you can get a sec, because this is obviously going to route really slowly, so that lets him get 2 kills instead of 1, although he missed that. So. But it was a cool idea. It was a cool micro. Bailed out crit on a Scorpion. It was pretty funny, actually. Yeah, just people just not really doing anything. That's one way of dealing with the Mott shots, and I guess you'll notice he sold the transport. You don't want them clumped up like this, especially when your enemy has RM70s, because there's always the chance that the RM70 is the middle one and he'll get all 3. Whereas if you spread them out a bit more, you can sort it out. So this is sort of a late game thing where it's like, okay, well, I'm never going to resupply these. I don't really care if they die. I just need to, you know, spend my points on something. And so you might as well just sell the transports, get those 20 points back. And you see the same things happening on the other team. These guys sort of remembered that they have RT. These 30mm are pretty redonkulous, and that's why he's literally just got 4 of those there, because then blue can't really advance. Although if you put another blob down here, like all this maybe, this would get down there. It would actually kill all this. But we have perfect information, and he doesn't. He thought that was the CV, but it was not. It was a good idea, though. And the Hell Arm should... I mean, it's not targeting the right thing there. And because it basically gets things on low cohesion, then it just swaps to the next one. That's why this happened over here as well. It wasn't his micro, it's just how it works. Yeah. And what can I say? So more Scorpions coming down here. Well, I really want to play MBAD now. It's making me want to play MBAD, but the new divs came out and I want to play those as well. I really love MBAD. I like 4th as well. I like this game. I just love this game. It's obviously, that sounds strange because all I've done for the last 35 minutes, 45 minutes is just complain about this game. But I love this game. I love watching it. I love playing it. I love everything about it. Even though it's shit. But yeah, he's really lacking the recon here. You know, if he had some recon here and some recon here, he'd be able to sort of kill this CV and so on. There you go, the last RM70 volley, just desperately trying to take out the CV here. Scorpions and Scimitars do beat grenade launchers, especially when your only AT is over here. So no AT in here, like 1 AT unit would have been pretty useful. But I'm starting to get the impression that Tiberius ran out of infantry, given what he's buying now. And here you go, so this was seized, 5 minutes left. And as we spoke about, blue ran out of CVs. We did speak about that. This was his last one on the board, and this one seems to have died somehow. I sort of forgot how. I think it was when that massive infantry swarm came through and killed it. So even though he's got all this, he can't actually take advantage of it. So Link's Hellam's starting to bully here. MiG-29 coming out, and there's still no Darkfire here, and this one's still back here. He's never moved it up, so it's gonna go down there, and you know, it's a big shame. Doesn't really have to be happening. This is on fast move, so it's gonna miss. Right, there we go, Scimitar. It's just so much better than the Scorpion. Obviously, it's 10 points more, so... and there you go, so now it's going to be +3 for FTE, but he's desperate. He's got to get this out of here. As soon as he caps this, he's got to get this over here. And it's just a... I don't know if there's enough time. Like, he's loaded this up, but, like, so go forth, attack, get down here, see what's down there, use the smokes, use the helicopters, you know, go everywhere. Micro perfectly for my entertainment. So yeah, he needs to keep this secured. I'm not sure what's going on with these. Like, he's still got a CV here, and he's now trying to send it all the way back round. But then, like, so this needs to be going over here. He's only got 4 minutes. He needs points. So where's this going? It's going there. That makes sense. I see. He's going to put it in the helicopter. He was going to put it in the helicopter, but he forgot. And now the helicopter's being auto-sold. And now it's, now it's being brought back. Oh, dear. There's a bit of lack of noticing here. But yeah, what a crazy game. Like, both of these players are really good. Tiberius especially is like really good at this game. And so I don't understand why he built this deck this way. Maybe he hasn't played fourth in a while. Got a sort of short-term memory loss thing here. Yes, this man is still here. I guess you can't see him, but he did try and kill you a few minutes ago. So there we go. So right, so he's Hilo in it up now, and now he can just try and get this in here. Right, obviously there's a Shilka there which he doesn't know about, but if he just goes forth, he would know. Right, send something, send everything. You've got 3 minutes. Sultan's coming down here. That's good stuff. And this CV just left because it's coming round here. And the 105s take out that. Great stuff. And now here come the Shilkas. So there you go. We said, there you go. He's got loads of units. Do you need so many Shilkas? Well, apparently he does. So Sultan coming in here. +3 with 2 minutes left. And, like, where's this going? It's going to the same place. That doesn't make much sense. Why not send it to a new place? You've already got a CV coming in here. He could go over here. I don't know how far he'd get with the planes and stuff, but it's worth a try. Okay, he's noticed now. Okay, now he's doing it. But he's lost valuable time. He's only got 2 minutes. And now he needs to defend this hard. He just really enjoys his move orders. Doesn't want to shoot this T-55. Enjoys being shot. I don't know, it's like the second or third time that's happened this game. Second, I guess, with these Gurkha rifles. And just get off that move order! What are you doing? Ooh, that was close. And so now +7 with 1 minute left. And yeah, this, if only he'd done that sooner. Obviously there's a Shilka there, and so what you do is you send a plane first, or you just send anything. There's so many vehicles here. This Iltis for starters, get that in there, get this in there, get that in there. Just scout it, see what's there. The Tow 2, move this up to here so it can shoot over here. Yeah, like this isn't in the right place. It needs to be here. This is out of ammo. This is moving up now, but like you need an infantry AT here because it looks like this guy's going to get in actually. That you got some supply here, it's not really doing anything. Okay, AT goes in on the thing, misses massively, and there you go, so now he's in here, and there's no CV in here. So I think that's all she wrote, really. Gurkha Rifles leader went down to that Shilka. It's a shame, he could have won if he'd, I suppose both players could have won if they played better. I guess that's how Warno works, but it's a big shame, it's a big shame. He was on a +4 there. I'm not sure, it probably would have been enough actually. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it's he managed to get that CV in there, and now like this isn't being sent back. This could be sent back. He's got 27 seconds. He's only on a +4 instead of a +7, right? Because it would have been an extra +3 there, and then there you go. I think he's going to lose off the back of that. So you know, big sad. It just comes down to those. Wow, you know, these strikers, they fire really fast. Maybe that's why you bring like that. So, wow. I guess because they got 4 tubes on them. No, I'm not going to be able to see it in time. There it is. So it was a draw, comrades. And, yeah, really, really good game. I'm sorry all I did was complain, but it's basically, I was just getting so into it that I just see all the mistakes. So Tiberius built his deck like a melon. Not sure why you'd bring 2 RM70s with 2 cards of supply, and then like not bring any BMP ones, and then run out of infantry. You know, funny transport enjoy. You could have done a bit more getting around there. You know, what? I'm not sure if that's right. Anyway, you know, 60% win rate. He's been playing a lot of MBAD, and it's you know, it's not meta. Tiberius, he doesn't play bad divs, so they go rank 28, much higher. So also he's got more games, like in total, like a lot more games. So he must have reset this. There's no way he's only got 300 games. Must watch Hippie YouTube videos. That's why he's so good. And yeah, I mean, obviously, when you've got perfect information, and you're not in it clicking the buttons, you can take a nice laid back, zoomed out approach, and then you can be like, well, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. But when you're in it, it's much harder. It's much harder. But yeah, I mean, FTE really could have won that if he just played a little bit faster. Like there were so many times where he'd like cleared his own 90% and then he just sort of let Tiberius walk back in. And he's not using the advantages of his division. You've got 36 cheap fire support vehicles. There should be one in every single bush, backed up by those 8 wheeled AA pieces. So I hope you learned something. I hope that wasn't too vitriolic, and I'll see you around, GG.